that you substitute for the H in a B. So instead of writing H, we're going to write 1/4 B. So 36 equals base times 1/4 B. Okay, well, when I simplify that, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 4. Get rid of this 4. And then I'm going to have 4 times 36, which is 144 equals what?
2B.
Not 2B. B squared. So how do I solve for B? Take the square root. So B is equal to? Okay. Well, how do I find the height? Divided by 4. You plug it in here. 12 times 1/4, or 12 divided by 4. So your height is equal to? 3. Don't forget these are both centimeters. How can I check myself? Plug it back in. Is the base you got times the height you got equal to 36?
Yes.
If it's not, you did something wrong. Okay? And it's okay, we all make mistakes. But on test day, you need to go check this. Okay? Has to be the same. Okay, look at number 8. The base is equal to what? So what equation would I use? B equals 2H. Base equals twice its height. If the area is 49, okay, now it's a little bit different, because what shape are we using?
A triangle.
Triangle, so you have to have 1/2 base times height. Oh, man.
Why'd you say that?
Because I thought I tricked somebody. They had already finished it, and I tricked them.
Who?
Jay. No.
You do that a lot. You didn't do it this time.
I know, this time. So, I'm replacing what? What letter am I replacing?
H.
B with an H.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So 49 equals 1/2. I'm not going to write B. Instead, in place of B, I'm going to write 2H times H. Well, 1/2 times 2 is 1. So we have 49 equals H squared.
Why?
Because H times H is H squared.
But what happens? Oh, yeah, we divided the 2.
Nope. Oh, yeah. Okay, 1/2 times 2 is 1. Now, take the square root. H is equal to 7 feet. Well, if I want to find B, multiply the H times 2. So B is equal to 14. How do I check myself? 7 times? Divided by? Okay. Flip the... Okay, were y'all taking notes with me on page 3? Were y'all writing that with me on page 3?
Yeah.
Okay, because last period they were doing it on page 4. I was like, the words aren't matching up. Okay, I want you to take a few minutes right now and do 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, 9. That way you don't think it's that bad. That's why when you have bad news for someone, you always say, I have bad news, if it's really not bad news. And it's like, oh, pfft.
Okay.
Well, then that's just a whole nother story. Okay, number 7. So, okay, can I just go through number 7? If you're still working, that's fine. If you're stuck on number 7, let's talk. Height is equal to 5 more than base. Notice, it says more than, not times. So B plus 5. So if it's 204 equals base times height, we're going to plug whatever it was for H is going to go into be B plus 5. Right here's where a lot of you messed up. B times B plus 5. You have to distribute the B to both of them. So you get 204 equals B squared plus 5B. Right? Then you have to subtract over your 204. So you get 0 equals B squared plus 5B minus 204. This is solvable. Is that a word? Solvable?
Yes.
Okay. By the easy method. So two numbers that multiply to give us negative 204 and add to give us 5 were
17 negative
plus 17 negative 12. Good. The reason it is so imperative that you keep this 0 here is because you're not done. You need these answers. You need to know what b is equal to. So when you set b plus 17 equals to 0 and b minus 12 equal to 0, it actually changed the sign. Say b becomes equal to negative 17 and b becomes equal to 12. Which one of those can I not use? 17. Can't have a base that's negative numbers, right? Doesn't make sense. So b is equal to 12 feet. And if I want to find height, 12 plus 5 gives me 17. Do y'all see why we factor so much? Just wait till you get to algebra 2 a trick. Okay, we'll check it together. 8, I got, B, I got 18. H, I got 54. B equals 44 for 9. H equals 11. For 9? Well, the base is equal to 4 times the height of a triangle. So 242 equals 1/2 base times height. Plug in your b, so you get 242 equals 1/2 times 4h times h. So that becomes 242 equals 2h squared. Okay. Divide by 2 and take the square root of h and you'll get 11.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, I got it right.
Okay?
You're pretty smart right now.
Good.
It's gonna leave me right
So I erased it now. So I divided it by, I multiplied by 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I divided that.
If you're going to do that, you have to multiply by 2, then divide by 4.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's a little bit easier if you just combine those two first.
Okay.
Okay? All right, guys, we have to go on. We have to move on. Okay, you ready? This is, what? B, opposite. H is 11. Okay, we are adding on technically 3 lines today. So, parallelogram, base times height. Triangle, 1/2 by base times height, or base times height divided by 2. Tomato, tomato, as long as you multiply by 2 or multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2. I don't care. Okay? All right, we're adding on trapezoid, rhombi, and kite. Keep in mind, I'm a math teacher, not an art teacher, not good at drawing the shapes. Okay? Nothing new. Trapezoid it's a quadrilateral, but our bases are different. So, you have, this is semi what a trapezoid looks like. Okay, we did trapezoids earlier. Remember, this is a base, and then the bottom is a base. And then your formula is 1/2 times your height, add your bases. It doesn't matter which one is base 1 or base 2. Your height, okay, your height has to go straight up and down like we've been doing with parallelograms and triangles. Okay? All right, a rhombi is a square that is whatever that is. Slanted. Okay? So, it looks similar to this. Do you remember all of those properties of rhombi? Okay, so keep those in mind. Okay, keep those in mind. Your formula is 1/2 times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. And I'll go further into what those diagonals look like. Good news. Rhombi and kite, same formula. 1/2, diagonal 1, diagonal 2. Now this is especially when I'm bad at drawing. Kites, one of their ends is longer than the other. Oh, that's not terrible. You see how like these two ends are longer than those two? Yeah. Kind of? If you want a better example, you could look into your notes. Okay. Not bad. Overwhelming when you look at all these together. When you break it down and think about it, not terrible. So let's go to page 5. I have good news for you. Trapezoids do not trick you. Okay? Trapezoids are not meant to trick you. They're meant to be straightforward, okay? So, what's the formula? 1/2 times?
H.
Add your
B1
bases. Does not matter which one is which. So, the only way trapezoids can trick you is by turning it sideways. Your height is always going to be the straight up and down. So, in this case, our height is 16. What's one of your bases?
32.
What's the other base?
18.
Is it okay if I switch those?
If you want to.
If I want to. A equals 1/2. Your height is 16. Add your bases together. Now, if you want to be technical, PEMDAS tells us we have to add our parentheses first. So 32 plus 18 is 50 times 16 divided by 2. However you want to do that. I don't care what order. If you want to do 1/2 times 16, if you want to do 0.5 parenthesis 16 parenthesis 32 plus 18, you should get the same thing. Okay? So your area is what? Feet squared. Can you try 2 and 3? What are your bases on 3? On 2? Yep. Yep. Ms. Jenkins, I do this all in my head and in my calculator. Do I have to write what I'm plugging in? No. But if you get it wrong on the test, can I give you partial credit? How about them? How was that? I guess if they wanted to trick you on a trapezoid, they could. If they wanted to like give you this and make you find the height. I guess they could do that. There's not any on here. Are we good? Okay, let's move on to rhombi and kite. So the formula is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So let's talk about what those diagonals stand for. Here is a rhombus. Don't get on the wrong bus. This is a kite. Okay, your diagonals are straight across. So this whole diagonal, then times this whole diagonal. Doesn't matter which one's D1, D2. It's kind of like your bases, okay? Kite, same thing. This is a whole diagonal. This is a whole diagonal. Does not matter which one's which, okay? So if you look at the first example, this is a rhombus. One of its diagonals is 7, the other is 9. Multiply 7 times 9, divide by 2. Okay, look at number 7. I'm going to say, now this is kind of like, I don't know which number goes with which number, so if it ever happens, ask. I don't mind telling you which number goes where, okay, because this is a little confusing. Let's say that 56 goes right here, 20, 20, and 26. Okay, so let's call the short diagonal, diagonal 1. That's 20, and this is 20. Don't multiply them together. Add them. So that's 40 inches for diagonal 1. Diagonal 2 would be this whole thing, which is made up of 56 and 26. 82. Thank you. So you add them together and you get 82 inches. So your formula is 1/2 times both of those. Is this what y'all got? So let's look at 8. What do the dashes mean? They're congruent. So if you want, you don't have to write out which each one is, like I did right here. You don't have to write that out unless you just want to. What's one of the diagonals? 20. What's another diagonal? Why don't you go ahead and finish through 12? I don't see anything tricky. I don't. Through 12. What are both of the diagonals for 10? Okay, question. This is a rhombus. Property of a rhombus. This is the same as this, and this is the same as this. So even though it doesn't tell you what 8 is, or what this is, and it doesn't give you the dashes, if it's a rhombus, those bisect each other. So 7, 7, 8, 8. Did we get the same answers? 400, 672, 338, 112, 108 units squared. Yeah? No? Yes? I was just looking. I didn't get first period homework, so I'm not giving y'all homework either. Okay, so we need to have an intellectual